Hello YouTubers, we're back for part 2 of which muriatic acid works the best. It's been 2 days. I know I'd said I would come back in 24 hours, but we had a lot of rain, so there was no way I can get back. In fact, we had that much rain. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over what I see with the different tubes and the different muriatic acids. Also the rainwater. I don't know if you remember this piece here, but you can see how badly corroded the rainwater really degraded what the muriatic acid had cleaned. And then we have the hitch. Now I've put this down into the solution, flipped it around. It's been in there for 24 hours. You can see the paint starting to come off. But this area up in here, this is the area that I showed in the first video that I took out. When the rainwater hit that, you can see how it just flash rusted it. Now, how I neutralized it with this right here is with some Fast Etch from Eastwood. This stuff actually does a pretty good job. And what I ended up doing was put a rag onto it, like so, and then poured some Fast Etch so it would stay wet for a while. And as you can see where, you know, the rag was sitting, cleaned it up pretty good, and kind of where it ran down through here, it cleaned that off pretty good. That will neutralize the rust. Now, even with that, you still want to go over it with some acetone or some metal prep or prep all to neutralize the Fast Etch, because that will also cause the primer not to stick. But that seems to be the easiest way that I've found to eliminate the corrosion of the muriatic acid, because even if you primer this, you clean it off, you primer it right away, it's still going to continue etching the metal, and it's just going to bubble that primer off. You've got to neutralize it somehow, and the Fast Etch, the Eastwood Fast Etch, seems to be the best way to do it. Now back to our straps. I pulled these out, just kind of shook them around a little bit. So as you can see, you know, it did a pretty decent job down in there. It actually ate through, did not eat all of this junk that was in there. And that's the 37%. This one right here, that's 37% hydrochloric. And like I said, that was the most powerful out of the bunch. And like I said, I before I started this video, I jumped it around a bunch to kind of, you know, knock some of the rust off. The really heavy stuff up in there, I think you can see it. It really didn't do, you know, too good of a job, but it did okay. Now we're going to the what the muriatic acid they sell at like hardware stores and construction equipment stores, which would be this one, the 31%, and this actually did a really good job. And the important one thing that's really interesting, if you look up here, maybe hard to tell by the camera, but this piece up in here has a lot more, the acid really ate away at this a lot more. And I think that's just the difference in the type of metal. This is more of a springy steel, and that's more of a solid steel. But, oh, Jesus. But you can see it really got in here really good. Clean this out. I actually probably even made it a little thin right in there. It ate so much out of there. But it did get in that groove, which is really what I wanted. If you saw the first video, there was a bunch of junk and debris in there, and it really cleaned it out. Now, for the third one, and somebody mentioned in the comments that this is actually 21 to 25% hydrochloric acid. That very well may be so. It doesn't say on the bottle. What I read, you know, did say it was 21. I put 20 on here. It actually is 21. But nonetheless, you can see it did, there's a few spots where it did do a pretty good job. And I'm sure with a little scrubbing with a wire brush, it would probably do a better job. But that is what these three will do. Like I said, I'm going to take the Fast Etch and clean it up with the Fast Etch, paint them, and they're going to be going on the truck in the next couple days. I'm probably also going to do a video on this fender here. I've got it soaking down in there. Don't know if you can see it down in there, but there's also a battery tray down in there as well, how it does on that. The video I'm going to do with these is what to do if you don't have Fast Etch. There's a third way you can do it with a torch, with just a propane torch or a Bernzomatic type of torch. You can neutralize it with that, and we're going to be going over how to do that with the fender. So stay tuned to, I guess, video number 3.